Hi everyone, my name's Chris and welcome back to Scarecrow. It's great to have you here again. Okay, so if you've watched a few of my videos, you'll know I base a lot of my craft work on scarecrows and the more rustic, haunted farm themes of Halloween scare props. I always feel these really capture that unique end of summer feel as you head into autumn and the Halloween season. Recently, my daughter came up with a few scarecrow designs, including this brilliant witch scarecrow crossover. As soon as I saw it, I thought, yep, I need to try turning that into a real mask. So today, we're bringing her idea to life. We've named her the Hay Witch, and we've even cooked up a whole backstory for her, which will turn into its own video in the future. And if you'd like to try and make something similar, then here's a list of the things you're going to need. Now, for this build, I'm going to move through some of the steps fairly quickly. And if you want to deeper dive into any of the techniques, everything I'm doing here is explained in much more detail in my DIY Scarecrow mask video. So if this one feels a bit fast, feel free to check that out afterwards. Now, I started by building up some of the facial features with foam clay. I wanted the Hay Witch to look semi-human beneath all the burlap, so it's almost recognisable that she was once human. As a general rule, if you want your scarecrow to look like there's a person lurking under there, you'll want to bulk out the nose, cheeks, and anything that might disappear once the fabric goes on. After shaping everything, I covered it with material to protect the details, sprayed the whole mask black, and added mesh over the eyes. So the next thing to do is to make a hood for the mask. Again, check out my other mask video for how to do this, but the short version is grab an old t-shirt, cut it up, and use the fabric glue to turn it into a simple, creepy hood. You'll need to make this for this mask so that you have something to attach the witch's hair on later on in the build. For the face, part of it was to be made from a different type of fabric, something that would make the Hay Witch look just a little bit more unsettling. So I used material from a plain old tote bag. Now, the face is divided into quarters, a centre split, and then a wide grin tearing it across the lower half. The top two quarters are mismatched, one burlap, one tote fabric, just like in my daughter's design. There's also a seam running right up the forehead. I then brushed Mod Podge all over the tote fabric and pinned it in place, tucking the edges under to make clean seams. A tip here is you can glue the seamed edge together in advance of putting it on the mask, as it then takes less messing around with the fabric while you're working against the clock as the glue dries. And then it was a case of adding in the mirroring sections onto the other sides of the head in burlap. Right, so I've got the top half of the mask made up now. Sort of fairly pleased with it at the moment, so just now thinking about the bottom half, and this is really where I have to kind of think about the overall design of the mask and where we want that kind of mouth line to sit. Now, originally intended that it would go right up to here in a quite a thin kind of grin. I'm just wondering now whether to move it around a little bit further, make the mouth wider. So these are the kind of decisions you can sort of adjust your design as you go along, really, and sort of see what looks. Just hold up the material to the mask and try and get an idea of how it's going to look, how the finished thing will look. Do you want the mouth sort of small, or do you want it sort of bigger? Try and work out what you want to achieve with the final look of the piece. So yeah, don't be afraid to adjust your design as you go along and see what works. But yeah, it's coming along nicely. Let's get on with it. I've shown a close-up here so you can see just how many pins you might need to get everything to dry in the right shape. It's a lot. Right, so we've got the full face done now. You can see the line of the smile, both sides, sort of fairly equal, but fairly pleased with how that's come out. And now we're going to put some more stuff on the back here, some more material to just strengthen the back of the mask up a bit, because the seam's going to run along here at the back to tighten it up, and I can put some string or sort of Velcro on it to help do it up. So a few more bits to add, and then we'll come back and start adding some paint and some stitching. And so I started painting using some watered down brown acrylic paint first. So here on this side, I'm just going really, really lightly with a darker colour, because the fabric is so light. I don't want to kind of overdo it. So using lots of water to build up the layers really, really, really gradually. Once it's kind of gone too far, it's hard to undo again. So lots of water, go with the same layer several times. You keep control of the method then. Okay, so I've got a couple of coats of paint on this now, and I'm sort of fairly pleased with this side where the burlap is. It's coming along nicely. Not so pleased with this side, which I'm in two minds about. I'm still not sure whether this is really working for me. It looks a bit too dirty. You probably can't see it too well from this angle, but it looks a bit blotchy. I'm not sure it's the look I want, so we might have a think about this and just maybe reevaluate this section here, whether this is going to work and stay as it is, or if it's going to become something else. Let's have a think, and we'll get back to it. Okay, so I'm now taking some lighter, sort of very, very light tan paint now, and just dry brushing over some of these raised areas. And I found this has actually kind of softened out a lot of the problems I was looking at. So I'm going to keep doing this and keep building this up in layers. So it's sort of absorbed up some of that kind of black. I think it's going to look okay, but we'll keep going with it and we'll see how it looks. Next up, I wanted the eyes to be super dark and textured. So I mixed some sand with PVA glue and black paint and added it around the eye areas, which I think gave the mask a lot of spooky character. Okay, it's just about done it for the eyes. You can see I've really sort of caked it quite thick into the eyes there, just to give a real kind of sort of spooky look to it. I think it's coming together a bit better now. I think I wasn't so sure earlier, but no, I think it's going to be all right. But we'll get some stitching on this now and sort of see how it looks when it's all dried up. So I have the stitching ready here, and we're going to start putting this on in places. Normally I just sort of stick this into the burlap material because it's quite open textured, so it's quite good just to push it straight in. But for this cloth section of the mask, I think we're going to have to take a different approach, because I can't just push it into there. It's going to have like a little hole to be pushed into. So we are going to Dremel a small hole, and then that'll just provide enough space to put the stitches in, hopefully make it look really good. Holes drilled. This is where all the stitching is going to go. Hopefully it should look okay. So basically this process, I'm just literally cutting these bits of sort of string off, and then just kind of poking them into the holes that I drilled, sort of bending them with a pair of pliers so that you get more of a kind of a stitch effect, and then just kind of crossing them over where I kind of feel that they need to go and gluing them in place. And I've tried using super glue. Super glue is not working out too great, so I'm going to move to hot glue now, and hopefully that should speed things up. Alright, so just so you can see the process a little bit more clearly, I've got some thread. I'm just going to measure from there to there. So I've got my bit of thread here and drop a big dob of glue into the hole. I'm just going to slide that in so it's good to fit. And I'm just going to push it so it stays in place. Once the glue's dried, you should have a stitch. And with the stitching all wrapped up, it was time for the hair. Now, I used raffia strips which look just like straw for that scarecrow look. I glued them on using hot glue, making it wild, messy and witchy. Now, not going to lie, this takes a bit of time and patience, but if you add 4 or 5 strips at a time and then alternate the layers going up the head, it will give a good coverage. Remember, you don't want it to look too neat and tidy like the scarecrow has just walked out of a salon, so vary the lengths and thickness. Don't worry if it looks wild. I ended up drilling some small holes at the top of the forehead where the hairline starts, so that it's more natural and the straw comes straight out of the head, which I think helps sell the look. And finally, some last finishing paint touches, and that's her, the Hay Witch, in all her dreadful glory. I was really happy with how she turned out, and the mask really comes alive in low light conditions, so it'll be great at Halloween for my daughter to spook people with. So, if you have any questions about the build, please do let me know in the comments and I'll do my best to answer. I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next spooky build.